Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bizarre Podcast Dogs Must Die. My name is Grant, and I am alone today because this, as the title would suggest, is a compilation episode. Here are some of my personal favorite bits of our episodes on Part 2, Battle Tendency. Now, before we begin, first, a slight apology and then an announcement. In our last episode, we said we would be doing some streams of JoJo's video games, and we'd let you know when those happen. Those haven't been scheduled yet. Turns out it takes a lot of your time to launch a new major video game for a big franchise. Who could have possibly guessed? But hopefully we'll get a few of those out in the meantime. But the big announcement, you may have seen that the final episodes of Part 6 Stone Ocean will go up for their global internet streaming release on December 1st, the 1-year anniversary of the first part of Stone Ocean. My goodness, what happened there? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. That date being, of course, December the 1st, a Thursday. Now, we're a Monday show. We can't exactly do date and date with that. So here's the plan. The previous Monday, November 28th, we're going to have a special episode coming out where Chip and I talk about Manga in Theory and Practice, the Craft of Creating Manga, a 2015 nonfiction, sort of a how-to guide by Hirohiko Araki. It includes a lot of insight into his own process and some behind-the-scenes JoJo stuff, as well as just like handy tips and tricks. But it's mostly a guide into the way to turn ideas into a manga, and one that will grab a reader to go beyond the first page. Then the following week, Monday the 5th of December, we will be dropping our very first episode on Stone Ocean, and then continuing on weekly. That means we're going to have an episode drop on Boxing Day. The holidays are coming, folks, up until Stone Ocean is done. So, without any further ado, here's those best of bits. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Bizarre Podcast Dogs Must Die. My name is Grant. You can call him Chip, and we are beginning Part 2, Battle Tendency, in today's episode.
Again, I've already said this like probably 3 times, but this is where JoJo actually starts. I will say this probably 6 more times, honestly.
The final episode. All right, this is where JoJo starts, though.
Yeah. Because Hamon can do anything. Maybe he can, like, dunk his hands in the ice water the Coca-Cola's in and, like, super chill it somehow. I don't know.
He doesn't pay for refrigeration. He just has something like Dio's super sweat powers in order to chill the Coke.
Hell yeah. Man, Dio could have done a lot of stuff with the super chilling
Dio
powers.
could have invented the Frosty, but he decided to try and take over the world instead, okay? Dio's evil.
Yeah. God, the power you had, Dio, you fool.
Our first look at what it is to be America in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is severe police brutality, followed immediately by police corruption.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
very accurate. Good job.
And gotta be honest, most times, not all times, but most times cops are portrayed in JoJo, they are very bad people.
Yeah. What does America mean? Well, first, Coca-Cola. Second, cops are fucking pigs.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that he hates cops, he loves to brag, and he hates that he loves to brag. It's very good. This is a strong introduction.
Yeah, I love Joseph's intro. I just love that one of his big things throughout this entire thing is just that he doesn't want to make Granny Arena upset for any reason, whether it's through his actions or others. He's just super protective of her.
It's so good. He's such a sweet boy. I'm weeping.
I know, it's fucked up, right?
I throw my tablet across the room. How dare you?
First time I watched this too, and you see like Speedwagon die, I was just like, fuck this! He only gets 10 episodes before he's gone? You kidding me?
How dare you disrespect the greatest pride of Champaign, Illinois in such a way? So Joseph is pestering his dear beloved grandmother about whether Speedwagon was gay for Grandpa.
Yes. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
The entire world
Yep.
is populated by JoJo shippers. Ship wars, that's what World War I was about. It was a big ship war.
Oh, hell yeah. Everyone just flying banners of different anime men. But I think some other family adopted the baby, but still.
That's the only way. The only way this works is if, like, she sails to America or you know, gets picked up by rescuers in that casket and immediately is like, I can only handle one baby at a time. Please, official channels, find a home for this baby.
Yeah,
she grows up and then through mystic artifice returns.
Yeah.
And you know, they have their romance and bear Joseph together. But that is not what I think happened.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I think Joseph's dad married his sister and it's fucking creepy.
I don't know, man.
Don't do it! Don't do that!
Don't do that. Everybody watch this podcast. You ever had that thought? Don't do that.
Don't do that!
Don't marry your sister that was rescued from a ship that was exploding due to vampire problems.
I know it happens all the time. We've all been there.
In our thoughts. Everyone goes to a restaurant to have a nice meal, and Wario's racist cousin is there.
Yeah, I'm looking at this guy. I'm thinking, this guy is important. He's got a cyber eye.
Yeah, he's got a cyber eye in his head. He's got very spiky, pointy, zigzag hair. He's got
wearing eyeshadow. Like, this guy is vital to the plot.
This guy is
He's not.
No, he's a fucking freak. This guy is basically there so that Joseph Joestar can have a and then everybody clapped story.
Stop reading my notes. This was an amazing moment because, okay, I'm watching along. Every time I see something that I want to make a note of, I pause so I don't, like, miss something while writing, right? Mm-hmm. So as soon as this comes out, I pause to, like, try to write a joke that, whatever, news in this newspaper that Joseph's about to talk about, he's actually going to look at the bra ads. He's actually looking at the bra ads, though.
Yeah.
How dare you?
He's just like, just hands the magazine over to Smokey. He's just like, bro, do you think that's real, though? A cup to C cup? Are you kidding me?
Why are you asking him about Yabos? He's 12. He doesn't know. And
while Smokey immediately, instead of talking about the Yabos, starts talking about how much he thinks the bras are overpriced. $1.25 a pair is way too much. Yeah, Joseph just pulls out a fucking Tommy gun, which I don't know where he was hiding it from, which makes it way funnier.
It came from the coat rack dimension, obviously.
Yeah, he just had his hand behind his back and just whoop, there's a fucking Tommy gun. And even Straitso is like caught off guard, just goes like, what the fuck? And yeah, he just starts dumping rounds into Straitso into the restaurant.
Smokey has some valuable questions, like, what the fuck? And what the fuck?
And where did he get that? And I do love that there's a part where he says he's shooting him right out in public. Incredible. Like, while he's also thinking, what in the fuck? He's also thinking, wow, I gotta kind of admire him for doing this. But yeah, there's like two ladies who are just like on the side, just like crying and screaming, just utterly terrified. They can't move. And he goes like, hey,
Stop crying, young women I just fired at.
Yeah, he's just like, hey, yo, you got to calm down and get out of here, or else I'm going to make out with you.
I shall give you tender kisses if you do not compose yourself.
What in the fuck?
But Straitso is prepared because he has a special scarf woven from the stomach lining of a particular beetle, which dissipates hormone energy. Obviously, everyone knows this. This is Hormone 101.
Yeah.
So Joseph runs away, pulling the string connected to the pin, and so Straitso looks down and sees a grenade has been pinned to me. Oh no. If I were a normal man, this would be bad, but I am not. I'm a hormone supercharged vampire. One grenade is nothing to me. So he throws the grenade and then sees that there are 8 strings attached to the grenade. grenade, each pulling the pin on yet another grenade pinned to him. Joseph Joestar is not just fast, he is Barry Allen fast.
Yeah, goddamn. This part makes me laugh every fucking time I see it. Just eight more grenades stuck to his back he didn't notice, since Joseph thought, aha, he's going to slap the first grenade away. I'll just tie the other ones to this one so they all pull the other pins. And yeah, he just...
And there's no way he could slap 8 grenades.
No way, no.
So okay. Joseph has just had a very eventful hospitaliano meal with his new best friend and his grandma, and then he finds out that his mentor and dear family friend has died, and it's probably at the hands of another dear family friend. So he goes for a bit of a late night nosh, and he brings his Tommy gun and a dozen hand grenades.
And by the way, the show never answers where Joseph gets those from, and I'm happier for it.
Joseph clearly loves Speedwagon because he's acting for vengeance, but when he begins trash talking straight, so he says, hey, say hi to Speedwagon in hell for me. So he's very realistic about what's going to happen to Speedwagon's eternal soul.
Yeah.
As an oil magnate, he is doomed to eternal perdition.
Yeah.
So yeah, now we get a bit of an introduction into the Nazis, that they are very dangerous, and that they are industrial, and also they are fucked up wizards.
Yep.
But yeah, he's monologuing as evil Nazis tend to do in media. Mm-hmm. And one thing he says to Speedwagon is an old quote, an aphorism from the old country. Mm-hmm. The village in which the elderly kill each other is not long for this world. What does that mean?
What in the fuck? Yeah.
Was that a problem back in Europe? Were they having retiree Hunger Games?
No.
What are you saying? And this is a cartoon accent off, because this kid is edging towards Speedy Gonzales, I have to say.
Yeah.
Like, this is some real Looney Tunes national accents.
Yeah. Did the voice director for the English dub go like, okay, this show is fucking nuts, you just go crazy with the accents? Or that
has to be it. It makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, in that position, I might have made the same call.
Yeah.
What, you want, like, naturalist realism now? Now? There's something called a pillar man, and that makes sense somehow. And then Donovan says something I never knew I wanted to hear a Nazi say so badly. What's up with this cactus?
Now, while just 2 episodes in the same podcast, I said, now this is where JoJo starts. Now this is where JoJo starts. Because this episode is fucked up.
I mean, there's 2 guys in that guy.
There's 2 guys.
How's he going to fit in the clothes for one guy when he's 2 guys?
Yeah. And rips a bunch of his hair out and charges it with hormone. And as he does this, the opening guitar riff to Owner of a Lonely Heart plays.
It's a choice. It's a good choice. Yeah. But the way Joseph talks about this, like, it's clear he's used the, quote, hormone hair attack before.
Yeah.
And I'm very curious what that event was.
Yeah.
I choose to believe he was defending a bunch of helpless mine widows from Pinkerton goons.
Oh my god. Imagine what Pinkertons would look like in the world of JoJo. That would own.
They would look like bulldogs and pigs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Joseph is the Antifa JoJo. We all know this. Frankly, I love the treatment of Nazis because in so much look at Indiana Jones Nazis. They're bad. Well, because just look at them. They are bad. But in part 2 so far, we're seeing just gross abuses of power. We're seeing a contrast between their mythologizing and the reality of who these rank and file Nazis are. We're seeing the way their ideology drives them to in reality, the Nazis never awoke primal forces that destroyed them. But it sure happens in JoJo and Hellboy and so many other things.
Totally.
But leaves them completely incapable of recognizing their hubris, as well as just being monstrous racists, even outside of this supernatural, hang-on effects of their ideology.
I'm curious. So the next 3 episodes we watch for the next episode of this podcast, it's been a while since I've watched part 2, like several years, but I remember while this part does really good with that portrayal of the Nazis, it does do one thing that I really did not like, and I'm curious if I'm misremembering it.
Okay.
So
we'll get there.
If it happens the way you remembered it, you will definitely have it in your notes, but I'm very curious. Want to see that part again and your reaction to it, but and his rib cage gurgles and his ribs shoot out of his body and stretch out backwards behind him to go stab JoJo.
Which the announcer describes as, quote, rib blades, sometimes known as fighting ribs. Known by who? Who says this?
Who?
The dynamic between Sanviento and JoJo in this is very like, okay, in Batman Beyond Return of the Joker.
Yeah! Sanviento's skin is protective against hormone. It's like this weird rubber-like skin material, and it like acts as a ground, so he was just sending the hormone that was hitting him down into the ground, which is then coursing through all the Nazi blood on the floor, which is making it float.
Yes.
That's a thing that isn't important. It's just a weird thing that happens.
The important thing is that Sanviento's skin is made of bug tummy.
Yeah.
He's got the beetle digestive lining for his skin.
Yeah. And while JoJo's just going like, oh no, my punch is ineffective, Sanviento's stomach opens up like he's the Thing and tries to bite JoJo's hand off.
And you can tell things are real bad when JoJo gets the pencil sketchy filter.
Yes.
Because of a technique called meat invade, also known as foul flesh.
This part 2 does this a couple times where an absolutely insane thing happens and it gets introduced as this, sometimes known as blank, like it's just a thing that can happen. Yeah, it's just
in what ancient grimoire do we write of foul flesh? And then someone shouts the most inadequate line for the situation. Get out of there, you.
Yeah, JoJo says that while, like, it's a really funny shot of, like, JoJo still has the axe, so he swings it down at the part of Sanviento that is still slightly poking out of his leg, and he just barely misses as the rest of him, like, slurps up into Stroheim's leg. Just get out of there, you! You rascal.
This is Rome, baby. We're in Rome. And when you're in Rome, you do what the Romans do, which is assault your waiter.
My spaghetti looks weird. Why is my spaghetti black?
Every fight in this part is either about vampires or spaghetti. You ever get so annoyed by like somebody in public trying to get smoochy that you try to kill them? Which really, really weighs on Caesar, because he says, quote, we Italians have the strongest family bonds of any culture in the world.
Yes.
Excuse me? You're saying that about your grandpa? Will A. Zeppeli?
Who fucking abandoned your dad as a child?
And was proud. He was literally proud of it.
Yeah, yeah.
No regrets. Not a single regret.
Baron Zeppeli could have never gone in that journey, and I think Jonathan probably still would have made it out of that fine. Like, he still would have died in the end, but he still would have defeated Dio, I think. I think he could have done that. He could have gotten any other Hamon user to just make him go Super Saiyan 2, and that would have been it.
It could have been straight so, and then we wouldn't even have a part 2. It'd just done and dusted.
Yeah.
He smooches the nameless woman.
Yeah.
In order to unbrainwash her and draw his Hamon back out, when what is in her mouth but a pigeon?
Fucking pigeon shoots out of this lady's mouth, shoots into Caesar's mouth, and now he's choking on a Hamon-charged pigeon. He's choking on a bird.
Now, if the guy I was brainwashed to choke out had then put a pigeon in my mouth, I would leave the country. Yeah. I am gone.
Unless I'm wrong here, after Caesar gets owned by choking on a pigeon, that lady just disappears.
Yeah, good for her. She bought a gun and moved to Japan. She wants to be as far from these men as possible.
Like, you don't even hear her go like, what the fuck, you freaks, and running away or anything like that. She's just gone from the scene. Mark the Nazi.
He's a Deutschmark.
Yeah.
Okay, he's a Nazi. He's a Reichsmark.
Yeah.
Either way, it's a very dumb pun.
Yeah. If people listen to this podcast, hey, do you want to see a crazy fucking movie? Watch Mind Game. That's pretty good. By the same guy, I believe. But anyways, back to JoJo.
Back to JoJo.
Caesar is teasing JoJo and asking if he has a girlfriend or not.
And he's so fucking sulky that he can't say yes.
Yeah. And Caesar's like, damn, don't know why anyone wouldn't want to date you. And that just makes JoJo think to himself again, God, I hate this guy. I can't wait to develop a secret technique.
So now I have to wonder, is this sort of visit, like, is this part of the policy of appeasement in the late 30s? Is Neville Chamberlain a JoJo character?
Oh my God. I wish. Oh man. Mark the Nazi just like pulls it aside like it's on a hinge and stuff, and Speedwagon just goes, I always thought it was a secret entrance. Doesn't surprise me. Always thought there was something up with the Mouth of Truth. I
can't believe Katharine Hepburn never figured it out. But this episode ends with, I guess what is now a 2 episode in a row, like, tradition for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Mm-hmm. We give a loving eulogy to a Nazi.
Yes, this is
we're calling them all great guys now. We love these well-dressed fellas.
This is the part that I forget if I mentioned it during the podcast or if it was after we'd done recording, where it's like, okay, if I'm remembering correctly, this next part does something I don't like. And that is the parts where it's kind of like being sympathetic towards random Nazis that are dying.
Every Nazi who has lines is apparently a great guy.
Yeah. You got 1 minute to fight me. And he's got a timer for that 1 minute. One of his invisible vortexes has slit open Joseph's wrist, and gallons of blood are just gushing out of him, just spewing everywhere. And Wamu says, in 1 minute, you will lose enough blood that you will pass out and die.
Can somebody please tell this guy that we invented clocks since he's been asleep? We have clocks now. But yeah, he's monologuing as evil Nazis tend to do in media. Mm-hmm. And one thing he says to Speedwagon is an old quote, an aphorism from the old country. Mm-hmm. The village in which the elderly kill each other is not long for this world. What does that mean?
What in the fuck? Yeah.
Was that a problem back in Europe? Were they having retiree Hunger Games?
No.
What are you saying?
Yeah, unfortunately, we never get to see... Smokey's never going to fight. He's permanently relegated in the Speedwagon role.
He's a very small child. I would not expect him to fight.
He's a very small child, but you never know. We just saw a bunch of dudes get drained in a conga line, so...
It's not like he can pickpocket the Pillar Men. They have no pockets.
Oh, God,
they have no
right.
pants. He's going to, like, take the orthopedic inserts out of their ancient sandals? Like, come on. At the bottom, there is a sea of slippery oil that is being circulated back up to the top and continually sliding. And it's a big greased pole,
yeah,
basically, that's like 30 feet in diameter, and you have to climb up using only your hamon, and you get no food or water or rest. And as long as it takes, it's as long as it takes. If you starve down there, that is not Lisa's fucking problem.
Yeah. I'm
like, what if Mr. Miyagi just shot Daniel and said, here's how you do karate now?
Yeah.
Lisa's vibe is like your cool aunt with a weed card, basically. no kids. She's got a real good job, and she's chill.
Yeah.
The biggest problem I see with legalization is it's removing the cultural signifier of the weed card. That's becoming meaningless.
Yeah. A lot of people's identities will suddenly be missing something if they don't got that, right? And then he remembers what Caesar told him earlier in the episode about, concentrating hamon into smaller points like your fingertips. And he finally realizes, like, oh, I'm going to do that. And he's able to start slowly climbing the pillar.
At this point, he's been standing in waist-high grease all up in his business for 5 days without food or water.
Yeah.
Just to consider, oh yeah, that advice I got in plain English. Oh yeah, all right. They're talking about how, well, what we really need is a stone of Asia, because it refracts light real good, and it makes light more gooder. So the spikes will punch better through our ridiculous skin and bones and our super brains to become super duper brains.
But yeah, it's like when JoJo comes in, he catches like AC/DC striking a pose with his foot buried in Logan's stomach. And when he throws Loggins to the ground, JoJo examines his dead body, and he says, his lungs have been pulled out. That was a powerful kick.
He says that his lungs have been pulled out, which is very bad for a hamon user.
I think that's bad for anybody.
As if Susie Q would be just fine if her lungs were pulled out. Yeah. It wouldn't bother her that much.
Yeah.
He launches his attack, still ties up AC/DC in this hamon charge string because AC/DC only cut certain segments that were wound and knotted very loosely around other segments.
Yes.
Because he studied the classic rope tricks of close-up magicians.
Yes.
And is applying those lessons here in Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, he gives a whole like little history factoid about like the history of illusions. It's just like, man, well, you were asleep for 2,000 years. People figured out magic tricks. Tricked you, gotcha.
Magic tricks more recent than the art of war.
Yeah, know all about Legerdemain or whatever it's called.
The diagram, I find it so lovely. In case you ever wanted to trick your own ancient evil at home.
Yeah.
Susie Q is trying to help Lisa get dressed. I've decided that her voice sounds like Princess Peach doing a Mario impression.
Susie Q isn't like a smart person. She's nice, but she's kind of dumb as bricks, I think. She just cannot.
And so we get to the ethical dilemma, the moral quandary. Are you a bad enough dude to murder a child?
Yeah. You want to kill this lady?
So one of them gives her a positive hamon poke to like heal her wounds and keep her safe, while another gives a negative hamon poke in order to repel AC/DC from her body. And the narrator tells us that this balances out into a simultaneously negative and positive 0.
Negative and positive 0.
Yep. Hamon works on floating point arithmetic. JoJo is a programmer.
Whoa. And like it gives us a diagram of like just arrows pointing at a naked lady's body of like, this is where the hamon goes.
For future reference again. And then JoJo says some words of respect for AC/DC's drive to survive. And like, can we not, please?
Let's not do that.
Please stop respecting people. Stop it.
He says this while like holding AC/DC's smoking brain in his hand, which is extra funny to me. Like, I was expecting you to, like, pat the brain for a second. Like, they're there.
You did good. It's okay. Go into the light. The ultraviolet light. So yeah, they travel along little map lines, but then we get to cut ahead to St. Moritz, where there is what I can only describe as an elderly puppy. This dog is drawn very young, but animated very old.
It's the saddest, most pathetic puppy that has ever been drawn.
I sure hope nothing bad happens to this puppy as drunk drivers come bombing down the street. Very classy European drunk drivers.
Yeah.
As they pour wine glasses in the front seat. Cars, kills Nazis, doesn't go in for the nonsense of the wedding ring of death.
Yeah.
And rescues puppies from drunk drivers.
Not so bad so far, right?
Cars is maybe the hero. He has weird, like, Las Plagas arm blades.
Yeah.
That is, like, villain coded, but it's all in how you use them, really.
Yeah, totally. I'm gonna fucking kill you, JoJo. The way he phrased it is very funny to me, just saying, like, it's too bad Wamu is still off at work in Greece. It just sounds like he's at a desk job or something. Like, he couldn't make it to the party in time. He had to work overtime today.
You know, the quarterly reports are due, and Wamu is swamped. Nobody's returning his emails. It fucking sucks. Poor Wamu.
I'm just imagining that when he goes to work, Wamu has the exact same outfit as usual, but he's just got a tie on top.
HR needs to talk to you about your instinctual super kick anytime someone crosses your shadow. It's causing some real problems.
It's, you know, if you're you're next in line, like, for, you know, the coffee machine or something, no one else can form a line behind you. Everyone gets kicked in half. We've lost 5 people this week because of this. And then a big gun comes out of his tummy.
We've went from a Tommy gun to a tummy gun over the course of Battle Tendency.
And he just, like, you know, he just hooks up the bullets up to his tummy. And I like that the gun, the tummy gun, despite it being, you know, on his tummy, it still has a giant iron sight on it.
Yes, that still doesn't get up to his eyes. It's completely useless.
I don't know. Yeah, like, what?
It gets up to, like, his bust line, which is unwieldily tall, but it doesn't do anything.
Is there ever going to be, like, a little man riding on the top of the tummy gun who can help you aim or something? I don't know what's going to happen.
So the bone blade is made of bone. They're not lying. But the reason it's so shimmery is because it is essentially a chainsaw. With microscopic, like, bone spike teeth running around, refracting light as they move so darn fast.
Yeah.
In their loop around the big bones. The little bones go around the big bones.
The other two have very clear-cut elemental powers, but, like, his is light, but it's really just a bone chainsaw. He's got chainsaws that pop out of his arms, made of bone. They're both falling. The narrator says it's 175 meters to the bottom, 5 seconds until impact. Keep that in mind.
It would actually take 6 seconds.
Yeah.
The math is really simple. Acceleration due to gravity. Everybody knows it, unless in the world of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, acceleration due to gravity is 14 meters per second per second.
Oh.
It would be exactly 5 seconds if this whole world is operating at 1.4 G.
Well, there you go. It explains a lot of things. It's great in how melodramatic this part is.
They go for it, man.
They go hard on Caesar's death. And you know what? He gets a better death than Will Zeppeli does. At least.
Yeah. He accomplished things. He saved JoJo's life. He got the nose ring, the lip ring.
And you know what? He nearly kills Wamu. He kicks the shit out of that dude.
He kicks the shit out of Wamu.
Like, that is way better than Baron Zeppeli going in to fight Tarukas and then dodging 2 attacks and then getting rent in half immediately. He did a much better job. Yes.
So JoJo moves on, grabs a doorknob, and remarks at how unpleasant it is. However, have you ever held a pleasant doorknob?
I can say no.
I feel like doorknobs are, at best, neutral.
The best a doorknob can be is if it's warm for some reason. But even then, I'm just like, who's been holding this doorknob for so long? Like, this is weird.
I just want my doorknobs solid and dry. That's all I'm asking for.
Yeah, that's all I need. Hello, I'm Wyatt Beck. Here's my backstory.
A vampire makes zombie thralls,
Mm-hmm.
and a pillar man makes vampire thralls. In part 3, we're bound to meet something that can make pillar man thralls.
Oh no. Imagine Pillarman thralls. What a nightmare. Everyone's just contorting their bodies all over the place. No, if you had a ton of Pillarmen that could do weird body contortion stuff, you could have a really crazy fight where a bunch of Pillarmen contort their bodies to link up to make one giant monstrosity being. That would be rad. So my question is the normal human face-shaped stone mask good enough for the horse, or do they have horse head-shaped stone masks just specifically for making vampire horses?
I believe the human-shaped stone masks could, but the question is, where on the horse head do you put it? Because none of the parts are going to line up. You got to hold that flush, right?
Yeah.
They work.
Like, if the Pillarmen weren't like killing lots of people so that they could get their hands on the stone, they seem like they could maybe be all right dudes. I don't know. There's times where they get along easily with the heroes for some reason.
Yeah, like they would all go on a road trip, and Cars is trying to keep the schedule, and Lisa is giving everybody juice boxes and sunscreen.
Yep. Wamu's version of that is to pluck his fucking eyeballs out.
And if thy right eye offend thee, pluck it out and cast it from thee. Matthew 5:29, King James version. They've been locked up for 2,000 years. We assume they're just rounding. Wamu could have been at the Sermon on the Mount. He could have heard that straight from the source.
It's true, and it wouldn't. AC/DC was already like, I was there when Sun Tzu was writing The Art of War. Like, it would not be out of the, shocking to be like, I was there too. I was just there in the background, just slightly out of frame.
3,000 years after my friend Sun Tzu died, I had a new friend, Jesus Christ.
He was cool. He was a Hamon warrior, so I had to kill him.
And this is where the race stops, essentially. So let's take a look at how far they actually went. They seem to go a quarter of the way around to get the first weapon, and then another full lap to get the second weapon, and then another half lap or so.
Yeah.
So we're doing less than 2 laps. This is actually shorter than the Kentucky Derby on horses that are running slower.
Not even like 3 minutes, maybe. And we're about 17 minutes into the episode.
And you ever hate losing so much that your whole body explodes?
Yeah. And as all this stuff is getting sucked up into Wamu's air pipes and getting mixed up inside his body, he just fucking explodes. This dude blows the hell up, and all that's left of him is just his head on the ground.
As is tradition.
And then he is shocked because he just realized what JoJo is doing is the same thing to him.
JoJo, please stop respecting people. He just killed Caesar. We're literally talking about it right now. We don't have to do this.
Quit that. But yeah, he tells Wamu that because you showed Caesar honor in his death, I will do the same to you. And all this shit. Wanted to find a way to honor your warrior spirit and all this.
He's trying to eat every human on Earth.
Quit this.
After maybe turning them into vampires to make them tastier to eat.
But all the vampires in the audience are really upset with this turn of events. So they just leap out of the rafters to just go kill the shit out of JoJo themselves. And Wamu does not like this. And using his hair like he's Bluford... grabs the giant crossbow that's still on the ground near him, loads himself onto the crossbow, and shoots himself at these vampires.
Horn first,
and tears all these vampires in half.
I think he kills 2, so now it's 98 against 2, if we're following along.
And Karzmili says, why the fuck did you dudes, why did all of you think I was going to fight fair and square? You fucking dummies. Why would I ever choose to do that? I'm going to fucking cheat in any way I can to win. I just
want the rock. I don't care about your shit. I want the big shiny rock.
I want to be the ultimate being. Fuck you. I don't care how I do this.
Have you not been listening to anything I've said?
Yeah, like he straight up just tells JoJo, like, I am not honorable like Wamu. I don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. And there's a couple dozen Nazis behind him that have shoulder-mounted ultraviolet spotlights.
Yeah, these are introduced as the Speedwagon Foundation Special Forces.
Yeah.
If the Speedwagon Foundation has special forces, I don't think it should exist.
Yeah, because at first it's like, oh, okay, Stroheim is commanding Speedwagon Foundation forces, but no, they seem to be Speedwagon Foundation-assisted Nazis. I don't know what's that.
Like, even the Ford Foundation never went that far, okay?
Yeah. He's pointing out, like, oh boy, it sure would be a shame if anything happened to Lisa. And he picks up her unconscious body and plays air guitar in her legs.
When Cars is making jokes, you know we're in trouble. This is very sudden and very bad. Also, who taught him about guitars?
I don't know. Yeah, they have a super mega UV amplifier gun that is the size of like a gigantic cannon, unlike an aircraft carrier.
Stroheim's enthusiasm really does start to grow on you.
Dude, he loves the UV amplifier stuff. He is so excited by it.
He loves being a robot. He loves anything he likes. He loves. He is the Kojima Twitter of characters.
Yeah.
The only problem is one of those things he loves is fascism.
Oh boy. He's been laying face down, like his head turned away a little bit, so they couldn't see the mask there. Very quickly turns his mask. Everyone goes, oh, fuck!
But anyway, JoJo time.
JoJo time.
This is where my notes become incomprehensible. Because this is where what happens becomes incomprehensible.
Yeah. Okay, so
it's all things I've written down. What do I even say? What can anyone say?
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I've been like the whole time we started this podcast, I was just like, all right, it's gonna be fun going through these episodes. There's a lot of crazy moments or memorable things that happen. But...
It took me 75 minutes to watch this 22-minute episode. I had to get up and take a walk. And JoJo, totally unnecessarily, says, wow, I've seen a lot of strange things, but nothing like this. This is truly the moment where JoJo's Bizarre Adventure becomes JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yes. So the Cars' hand is a squirrel now, and it detaches itself from his body, runs up
It does a little backflip.
It does a little backflip.
It does a little backflip to run up his arm and then snuggle his face. He snuggles his own face with his squirrel hand.
Yeah, he nuzzles himself with this squirrel hand. And when that happens, and Stroheim, or not Stroheim, Speedwagon is super freaked out and like sweating bullets and is also furious that the first thing that Cars does with his new powers is make a squirrel out of his hand. Mm-hmm.
And then the squirrel sees the real squirrel, hops over. The real squirrel has Valentine's hearts pop out of his head. And it looks like they're going to be friends. There is a full committee of Speedwagons present, and they are all at a loss.
Yeah, everyone's just staring
Though Smokey thinks it's pretty cute.
Yeah, everyone's just staring at these two fucking squirrels. And Smokey says is like, while he's drawn sweating bullets right now, but he says, "Well, look at that! I think it found a friend." And he's like glad for Cars' hand squirrel. And so yeah, they're nuzzling heads for a second, and then
it immediately eats the real squirrel.
And right before that happens, JoJo shouts and points at the real squirrel. "Hey, squirrel, get away from that thing! You don't know the guy it's made of." Watch out, squirrel! Watch out! Get out of there! And yeah, then Cars'
Bizarre podcast Dogs Must Die is obsolete. There's no point to, you just what? There's no describing this. There's no explaining this.
Frog mischief, evil. I don't know. Well, where do you go? It's too many subtitles. But yeah, after JoJo shouts that warning to the real squirrel, everyone is shocked, and yeah, it hard cuts to the Cars' evil hand squirrel devouring normal squirrel.
These horrible needle teeth.
Yeah.
And just it's squirrel blood all over it.
Yeah, it's got terrifying needle teeth, and also it has like bug mandibles. It's got mandibles shooting out of its mouth too.
And so the squirrel, not satisfied with mere squirrel flesh, does a flying tackle into the guts of Stroheim's cyber abs, and then starts spinning like a drill.
Okay, so even before that happens, another great detail is the squirrel like full frame leaps super fast across the screen. And there's this really great shaky cam shot from like over the shoulder of Stroheim that's darting all over the place because it's having a hard time keeping track of this ultra fast squirrel that is running like serpentines, so no one can get it.
With a glowing light trail that follows it because it's so fast.
And as the squirrel in like half slow motion is leaping right towards Stroheim's guts, Stroheim shouts, "Squirrel incoming!"
I would rather talk about Star Trek. I know what I'm doing when I talk about Star Trek. So yeah, we've got new life, we've got metamorphosis. Okay, I follow. I don't know why the squirrel eats people. I don't know why the squirrel has to first find love.
God damn.
Like, JoJo has reached its apex as a piece of visual art. Mm-hmm. It is unable to retain meaning when separated from its medium at this point.
Yeah.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is like graffiti or a tone poem. Describing it just can't be it anymore.
Yeah.
Speedwagon is showing that his biggest weakness is his confidence spiral.
Yes.
Every time something goes wrong, he just really starts catastrophizing, and that's not the mindset we need right now, Robert.
Suddenly, JoJo's getting bitten on the shoulder by a piranha.
I can think of a lot of ways for a Luftwaffe plane to be filled with piranhas, but I don't like any of them. They all seem bad.
So now there's dozens of piranhas leaping around the cockpit, trying to bite him. The feathers that Cars shot have morphed again into piranhas.
Joseph Joestar, you can defeat Wamu, but can you fight the entire creepy zoo? How will you overcome Violent the Crow, Death the Gorilla, and Ouch Causer the Otter? Terror the Turtle is coming for you, slowly.
Cars is... He says, "I'm still alive," while all of his skin is boiling and melting and sliding off of his body. And
are you sure you're still alive, buddy? Because you don't look great. You look real bad.
The end of episode 25 is the camera zooming out real fast, and Cars, all fucked up, just waist up in up to his waist in lava, melting, and he goes, "Wah!" The subtitles on Netflix say, "Worms." He is not shouting worms. He's going wah because he's melting from being in a fucking volcano.
And they lived in underground societies, and the regular people above the land who could stand the sun worshipped them as gods. And hold up now. Are we talking like Nephilim? Are these the Anunnaki and shit? Did Santana build the pyramids? I don't need no George Tsoukalos shit in my JoJo's. JoJo Tsoukalos' bizarre explanation. I don't want that.
Oh, no. And, hey, talking about flying arms saving the day, another flying arm saves the day. The eruption launched JoJo's severed arm up as well, and it goes flying and embeds right into Cars' throat.
Arms were made to be launched. They're so aerodynamic, honestly.
Yeah. The rock that JoJo is on is now, falling back to Earth, and JoJo just lays down and closes his eyes and thinks of all of his loved ones, and also Stroheim, I think, and just says, "Sorry, I couldn't do this, and also come back to you."
Before that, though, we got to talk about Smokey saying a few words.
Oh, right.
Specifically, that he and JoJo had been friends for 6 months.
Yes.
Excuse you?
6 months.
Where did those 6 months fit?
I can only imagine those 6 months with Smokey counting all the times JoJo was off in Italy.
Yeah, like, okay.
Just total time since you've met him? Okay.
This funeral is in April, so we're going to give him those two. So we really only have to fit 4 months. But Smokey meets JoJo. JoJo takes a motorcycle adventure to Mexico. Those are in the same day.
Yes. Yeah.
JoJo meets Caesar, then gets 2 wedding rings of death implanted inside him that give him at most 33 days between then and his death in Isla del Volcano. So that means when Stroheim gave JoJo the dire warning to become a greater Hamon master and nip the problem of the 3 remaining pillar men in the bud as quick as possible. Time is of the essence. All those extra months fit between that and actually doing it.
He had to hang out with Smokey.
How? Yeah, he was just hanging out with Smokey because I guess Speedwagon lost Caesar's address and had to go find it.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
While he was so busy, like, shooting Santana's rocks with sun lamps in a basement somewhere. By the way, Santana is still also kind of alive.
Kind of, sort of, yeah. He's just under UV lamps. He could come back.
He's eaten snakes once in a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, now it's time for everybody's favorite character.
Stroheim the Nazi. What happened to him?
2 million people died in the Battle of Stalingrad, and one of them was Stroheim.
He fucking dies at the Battle of Stalingrad.
What kind of fucked up super weapons did the Soviets bring to bear to finally kill Stroheim?
Right? Because, like, in that shot, so they also clarify that, like, Stroheim and JoJo never saw each other again, ever, after that final battle with Cars and JoJo getting his robot arm. But in that shot where they're showing, like, Stroheim, like, saluting towards the camera and then going off to battle, he has new upgrades, and he has, like, 6 miniguns pop out of his fucking back that are on little robot arms. How did they kill him? He has laser eyes. He's got rocket piece fists. He could survive killer squirrel attacks. Like, he's invincible, right?
Look, the might of the Soviet military machine in World War II was unstoppable. It's greater than Cars, okay? Stalin could have killed Cars.
Oh my god. I want to see that fight.
Millions of infantry would have died trying, but Stalin was okay with that.
Yep.
So yeah, the Battle of Stalingrad, the beginning of the end for Germany, so Stroheim continues to be bombastically useless and in poor taste.
Yes. Yep.
To the end.
To the end. I am extremely excited to start part 3 because it's despite saying it a dozen times, this is where JoJo truly begins.
After seeing all of part 2 now, I do think that on the whole, it has a generally strong treatment of Nazis as a group.
Yeah.
But that is totally forgotten when you deal with the individual of Stroheim. Which is a problem when, I don't know, 90% of what we see about the Nazis is the individual Stroheim.
Yeah. All the nameless Nazis get fucked up every time they're on screen, basically.
It's because they're not half robot.
Stroheim gets pretty fucked up every time he attempts to fight anybody. He's always just a torso, completely just missing his legs by the end of every fight, but...
Or less.
Or less, even. Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't just turn to a head with a rad haircut at the end in a jar.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Stroheim is also 2 characters, really. Like, there's pre- and post-Santana. They are very different men.
Yeah, that is absolutely true.
Where was this gleeful enthusiasm back in Mexico?
Something about Santana broke this man and turned him into a cartoon.
And on the other hand, where is the antiseptic sadist post-Mexico?
Maybe his brain got exploded into chunks and they glued that back together and it just wasn't quite the same Stroheim afterwards, just different parts of his brains arranged slightly differently, and that made him a nicer guy who wasn't excited to do blood experiments on people.
We built him wrong as a joke, but it worked out.
If you go to Universal Studios Japan, there is a JoJo ride there.
Yes.
And it's based off of part 3, and it's like one of those
Can Toad leave Nintendo Land and go ride the JoJo ride?
I hope so. I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves here talking about part 3 vaguely. Oh, no. But at the same time, damn, I wanted Lisa to get one real fight and not just and not just completely own Wired Beck.
Yeah.
Who talks like fucking Shoes Goose in the English dub. I'm Wired Beck. Hello.
Hello.
I was in prison, but then the Pillowmen broke me out. I'm going to give you a hug because I'm full of spikes. My hand is a doorknob. I live in the door.
That's an uncanny impression.
Thank you.
Okay, so Kingdom Hearts 4, you're going to be the Mad Hatter in the Alice in Wonderland world. Okay.
Yeah, I guess I could do a good Mad Hatter too, huh?
It's
All
the
right.
same guy.
And he's not in too many fights in part 2, but his last fight is a really good one.
Oh, you mean
Especially
his
now.
last fight as listed on his wiki page, Caesar Zeppeli versus Rock? There's a very cruel wiki editor that I'd like to have words with.
That's so messed
Sassy.
up. That's messed up.
JoJo shatters his cool goggles he just stole from Donovan. The shards go in between the bad guy's hands, like Five Finger Fillet. He's got his hand up against a pillar or something like that. And it actually kills a bunch of flies that were between the guy's fingers, and it scares him so bad that he goes, "Durr!" They're all amazed that he killed the flies, and then he basically just gets him in, JoJo gets him in a headlock, and he's like, "Well, since you're so impressed by that, give me food and gasoline in 3 minutes. Go get it." And they're just like, "Okay." Ah!
What the fuck? But at the same time, man, Speedwagon's dead.
And he died of a heart attack.
And he died of a heart attack.
And he was
I mean,
single, and he was, quote, single till the day he died. Rub that in. Weird.
He's got a Jonathan-shaped hole in his heart, which is what killed him. That's a very large hole. It's huge.
Don't know how the doctors missed it. This always just gets stuck in my craw a little bit with part 2, so I just have to bring it up, even though I think we've already acknowledged this in our minds. Damn, Joseph got horny in his own mom's butt.
Yep.
Huh.
Oops.
My hot 50-year-old mom. Wait a minute.
Oop.
Joseph's favorite food is fried chicken and chewing gum.
Ah, together?
I don't think together. I think it's fried chicken, and chewing gum isn't really food. You don't swallow chewing gum. normally.
Maybe you don't.
Yeah,
maybe
Joseph
Joseph's
is
a
a
freak.
different breed of man.
Yeah.
You know how useful it is to be able to summon hormone charged chewing gum out of your gullet?
How come he never did that?
Oh, what could you do with hormone gum? I bet you could do something. I bet you could make a fucking bungee cord with hormone gum.
Let's talk about Hunter x Hunter.
We know all of the
yeah.
abilities of soap bubbles with hormone, but gum bubbles.
And it's like, you know what? It could still work because you would get a instance of the narrator bullshitting how it works because because he chewed the gum, there is spit all over it, which conducts hormone very well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I still can't believe Caesar Zeppeli, the suavest motherfucker, ladies' man du jour, smells like detergent all day, every day. Wash your clothes right, dude.
They must be at night walking around, or at least sneaking around, normal streets. And you're just walking around in Italy or something, and you just see this fucking 6'6" beefcake dude with almost no clothes on, just walking around in sandals. And
There
going like, what the fuck?
are probably some cryptid sightings around this time in Italy.
Some weird report just lands on Mussolini's desk, and he's like, what the fuck do you expect me to do about this?
This is the 13th report just this week of a big beefy man just voguing at night in the streets. What is he up to?
Welcome back. There it is. Some of what I think are the best bits of our part 2 episodes, whether because they were interesting points that came out, or they were the funny bits, or for whatever other reason. What do you think? Did I miss any of your favorites? Let me know. Also, I'm very interested in whether people would like a possible future Best of Stardust Crusaders to be split in half, or thirds, or quarters, because if I did all of our Stardust Crusader episodes in one big compilation, boy, that would be a meaty episode, huh? But also, I've got to thank our very special guest for that last episode. You heard her in their Voidburger. I think this was when she was just starting to do contract work over at Giant Bomb. I don't know. I'd have to check a calendar. But wow, look how that worked out. We're very happy for her, very proud for her success. But most of all, what I want you to take away from this episode is those 2 dates. We're coming back with brand new episodes on November 28th. We're coming back with brand new episodes about Stone Ocean on December 5th. And that means now is the perfect time for you to do a re-listen or to tell people that you know about this awesome new JoJo podcast that is coming back from its hiatus to finally get current, get to the present, the cutting edge of JoJo's in-animated adaptation very, very soon. So that's all we have for you today. Again, thanks for joining us. I eat 5-star reviews for breakfast, and boy, am I hungry, hombre. We will be back in just a few weeks. To be continued.